speech is always the collection of two things, basically. One is the community features, which are realized in the speech of an individual. But that individual speech also contains the, the idiosyncratic features of that person, right? And while recording sounds for research and then interpreting sounds for the academic and research studies, then we are required to a little bit think about the individual differences which are realized in speech, right? And how can we, just discount those purely idiosyncratic features, the purely personal features from the speech of a person, and then weaving it at a community level, right? So that's an important discussion in the study of the spectrographic, features of the speech, right? Particular speech patterns are there within speech community, right? But how would we, through analyzing a speech sound, that how would we imagine, how would we make it sure that something which we are focusing is not purely personal, but that is related to the community, right? And that's the feature of the community speech, right? So that's an important point to just think about this division between community and personal differences in speech. At times, we are required to measure linguistically significant features, right? And we are also required to go through that speech analysis and discount the purely individual features, right? That's an important part of the speech analysis, right? So the acoustic analysis at times is also required to be used for a forensic investigation, right? Because in modern age, acoustic analysis of speech is also very much popular in the forensic aspect of language investigation, right? When language is further analyzed, when the speech is further analyzed for the legal proceeding, right? Just to give the legal aspect of that speech of a particular individual, particularly in criminology, when there is the the validity of a specific speech sound is required for further proceeding, legal proceeding, then we must be able to make that analysis of the speech sound so that the identification of an individual is possible through the acoustic feature analysis, right? So that's an important discussion within acoustic phonetics, the speech of two individuals, right, from the same community, right, from the American English, basically, that how the individual differences are realized, right? And then there are typical methodologies which we can further apply to discount those personal features of our informants and then focus on the community-based collective features. That would do later, but first I'm showing you the differences in individual speech. So let me take you to this figure, this chart basically. In this chart, you see that the Foreman chart is showing the vowels, right? These are vowel sounds of two speakers who were from California, and they were using Californian English. It's given in your book in 8th chapter, so you can also go through the book there. And the frequency of the first formant, you see, the first formant, here is this oo sound, right? Oo, you see that the speaker one is differently speaking it from a different part of the cavity, right? And speaker two is making it more from the back side, right? And similar is the case with O, right? Because there are differences in this, a type of, production of speech sounds, right? And similar vowels are spoken differently, right? So some of them are identically from the same place. Others are quite, similar, but still they are different. And then there are sounds which are quite different in some cases. You see, it's the somewhere like the high mid towards high mid, right? Like if high mid is here, so it's not really the low mid, but mid between the mid low and high, mid high. So it's the center of that. And here is the case also about the back vowels. So this shows us that there are differences at individual level. And as the experts of human speech, we must be able to keep in mind that speech differs at individual level. And how can we make something which is purely individual? How can we analyze that on community-based features? So that's a discussion, and we would continue with this discussion in the next session.